change me. I am stronger than you could ever hope to be. You don't deceive me. I see through some screens. Blow away your
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Raven Gaming. We are here for the second week last game of the week for PKL. My name is Kempton. I'm joined here by Zed, and we got one great game here for you guys tonight, isn't that?
Absolutely. I cannot wait to see how these two teams fight.
Yeah, if it happens anything like what happened yesterday with that insane comeback in Game 3, I'm wondering if the sister team FroggyStyleMoon is going to do something just as spectacular.
I honestly hope so. They have a line that they have pretty much have a bar to meet now.
They say, hey, we just did this, bring it up. It's like sibling rivalry, right?
Right.
We're going to be getting into the draft eventually here in a bit once everyone is set up. Let us know who you think's going to win, where you think the comps are going to lie. Based off of what we've seen here, Zed, what do you think we're going to see from both teams?
Well, I think that FroggyStyleMoon, I really want to see a good objective comp, if you know what I mean. So like a team that really excels at fighting around objectives and stuff. Because in the past they've had very good objective control, very good fights around objectives. So I want to see them craft a composition based around that. As far as it's Collective Horizon. Sorry, my brain kind of farted. I want to see a big jungle presence. I want to see a good bot lane presence because those two roles by far have a lot of impact around the map, especially after mid game. It's mainly mid early game, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Going into the draft here, it looks like FroggyStyleMoon has banned the Karthus and the Ezreal. And it looks like Zach and Kled coming out from the other side for Collective Horizon. Janna following up FroggyStyleMoon's third ban. And let's see what Collective does. Sitting on the Rakan, and they might just finalize that lock-in, and they will. What do you think about those bans so far? I mean, I like them all. The Janna, has she been popping off recently? I mean, as much as I love her, I don't know if she's really a top-tier character at the moment.
Well, I haven't really seen that much Janna in like the league games, like specifically the PKL games. Solo queue, I think that she's doing just fine, but I haven't really seen her in any of the games recently so far.
Well, she is gone, and it looks like the first pick over on FroggyStyleMoon is going to be the Ashe. So they're locking in their bot laner. I'm gonna hope and bet for a Leo because I just love that bot lane comp. But we're going to see what Collective Horizon decides to do in response. They're sitting on the Ziggs, and they're going to go ahead and lock that in. Now, that can flex. That could be a mid laner, or it could be a bot laner.
Yeah, I do enjoy the little mental game that they played with that Ziggs first pick. It's a very, very tough time to be able to pick around that, because if it is Ziggs APC, then and they try to like focus out on banning mid laners, then it's kind of like a little bit weird at that point because they don't know where he's going to go. So I feel like the mental mind games around that are just
Yeah, being able to flex champions is a very, very useful tool. I don't think people in drafts like this utilize it as much as they should, and I'm always a big fan of doing oddball things, trying to show something that could be one way or the other. It just leaves so much gray. Now it looks like Collective Horizon chose the Jarvan for the jungle, and Leo, yep, that's what I was hoping
absolutely.
for, and Lee Sin from FroggyStyleMoon. Now that's a really, really aggressive and engaged sort of comp, and that's followed by the Echo over on Collective Horizon. What do you think so far on these comps here, Zed?
Well, I do like on the on the side of FroggyStyleMoon, I do like the engage, but I feel like if they use it properly, they also have a very strong disengage with the Lee Sin kick. And if Ashe saves her ultimate, because if there's a strong enough engage, Ashe will not need to use that ultimate ability. So she could actually potentially save that for a disengage if they need it. So I think that it's a very versatile team in terms of team fighting. But I do want to see some more AP. But on the side of Collective Horizon, I love the amount of damage and the amount of lockdown that they're coming out with the Jarvan and the Echo if he hits his W, and the Ziggs just basically being a menace in the backlines. I think that both of these team comps so far should play pretty interestingly into one another. What is that Sejuani pick?
They
That's
do have the
nixing.
Sejuani coming in here. Last bands coming out, though, were the Thresh and the Ornn from Moon's side, and it looks like a LeBlanc and a Mordekaiser coming over from Collective Horizon. Sedge is the next pick here on Collective, like we said. Now we're going to see what FroggyStyleMoon chooses to do in response. Now, that Sedge, that's got to be a top laner. I can't imagine the Jarvan going anywhere else but jungle, right?
I mean, I don't know. I've seen Jarvan support in some solo queue, so I feel like that might be, one of those cheese picks that they're not really going to expect. But I mean, it very well could be either Sejuani top or I mean maybe even a Jarvan top. Everything is kind of blurred right now because there's still no ADC picks. So if that is Echo mid, that would be Ziggs APC. But there's really no telling right now because they have such versatile champions.
Or hell, what if it's an Echo jungle and Jarvan and Sedge take a lane? I mean, it's odd, and I doubt it, but there could be a possibility. Zillion being picked along with Kiana for the last two from FroggyStyleMoon, and set to follow it up over on Collective Horizon's side. I don't know what they're doing with this comp. All I can tell you, folks, is that Ziggs is their ADC, or APC, if you'll excuse me.
Everywhere else is kind of in the dark right now. I mean, the Kiana pick, that is most likely going to be a Kiana in the mid lane. Excuse me. But I like the team comp that Collective Horizon has crafted. I do like the amount of team fight potential, but the only problem is it's such an all-in team comp that if they manage to mess up even one thing, I feel like FroggyStyleMoon could easily exploit that with just the amount of raw CC that is coming through from the Leona and the Ashe ultimate and the Zillion, and maybe even the Kiana if it's in the river or in the jungle. So I do feel like that Collective Horizon has to play very carefully around it because of that one slip up leading to a bad team fight.
Right. It seems like they're trying to play for the late game team fight. So that makes me feel like there might be a little more passive in the early game. Not to say that they don't have the ability to try to pop off early if they do, but it just seems like Froggy Style has a bit more of an upper hand when it comes to the earlier game. Now, I'm going to bet that Zillion is mid and that Kiana's top.
I actually didn't really think about that. That is interesting to me because
Yeah, with the Leona.
yeah, that might be Lee Sin. This is just tossing it out there. I think that might be a Lee Sin top, Kiana jungle, Zillion mid. That's what I personally
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I've seen that periodically where the Lee Sin goes lane top. Yeah, it's both sides have some flexibility, but Collective Horizon, the flexibility on their side is just ridiculous. I genuinely cannot figure out what in the world they're gonna do lane wise. But like you said, I like the team strategy that they have here. They have a lot of lockdown, they have a lot of CC. There's a lot of damage that can come out of that Echo and that Ziggs. If somebody gets caught out on the side of FroggyStyleMoon, there are plenty of tools there on Horizon's side to where if a set grabs somebody, a Sejuani locks somebody down, somebody's unfortunate to get caught in an Echo time stop thing, whatever, Jarvan jumps in, one of them gets the lock, the rest of them can follow up with more CC, and somebody's just going to sit down and die.
Yeah, they pretty much don't really have any other ways to get out of that. I do expect, just based off past experiences, one of these ADC to take cleanse. It's just a thing that happens every game. Don't really know why, but I'm fully expecting a cleanse to be, brought into the Rift. But I honestly want to see if they itemize around that CC because both teams have a very large amount of CC, and honestly, it is a little bit AIDS to look at because I can just imagine scenario after scenario just lockdown CC from both sides, and it's nasty.
Yeah, it can get really, really dangerous. But we are going to go to a short break. Folks, let us know what you think, because, I mean, hell, your casters are lost. We have no idea really what's going on, especially over on Collective Horizon's side. Throw out your votes. Tell us what you guys think. Keep us posted. Give us some chats, and we'll be back shortly with Game 1. Stay tuned.
can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, know I'll find you in my dreams. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality.
There's a distance between us. It's getting hard to reach out. Haven't seen you in seasons, but all I hear is your voice. I know my limits, you can break me down, but I'll stay till the finish line. And I've been counting minutes for quite some time now, just to see you again. And I've been counting days to get away, to see you again, see you again. Been fighting ways to get away, to see you again, see you again. See you again. See you again. We got millions of reasons to let it all go. Hope we're not too broken. I know I'm not always strong. And I've been counting down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Game 1, FroggyStyleMoon versus Collective Horizon. Let's see what happens here. It looks like everybody's just deciding to spread out to the line of scrimmage, meeting at the river, and we are in a standard holding position here. No invades, nothing too crazy, but I'm excited to see what happens. A little bit from Ash, but nothing too fancy here. What Zed, what are you expecting here early game, now that we know where everybody's sitting and where everybody's laned for, especially for Collective Horizon? What are you seeing for the early game here between each lane?
I can see a lot of poke coming through from the bot lane. That is a Ziggs Jarvan bot lane on the side of Collective Horizon. But I mean, I didn't really expect the Jarvan. At the same time, I did, but at the same time, I didn't, because this is a league and people want to focus here, but that is a very interesting pick. There is a cleanse, I will say that. So I think they have a little bit of breathing room with that cleanse to be able to get some of that poke off. As far as the ADC and support for for the side of FroggyStyleMoon, I just expect them to be going full, run it down into them, run a straight line, see how much poke we can get off. But from the mid lane, I'm expecting, level 3 fights coming out from Echo and Kiana. Jungle, I'm expecting, just power farming, getting to level 6, getting to where they can all in with their lanes at the same time. I do expect a little bit of an early game presence from both of those junglers. But as far as top lane goes, I've never seen anything like a Zilean top, so I don't know how this is going to go, to be honest with you.
It is interesting. I will say this, that there was a period of time back in the day, and this happened in EU, in the pros, where Janna was a great counter to set top, and Zilean can kind of fulfill that, keeping his distance, having the CC, having the poke and the speed. I think he might be able to outplay him early, but now it looks like the Kiana and the Echo are trading. Kiana going down to about half health. It looks like that was in favor there of Echo. They are pretty even in CS at the moment, but for the most part, everyone's sitting pretty quiet.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting a level 3 engage. Kiana level 3 is her early game power spike until level 6. So I want to see potentially even a solo kill.
Oh, and here we go. And now Flash coming in here from the Jarvan, trying to get onto the Ziggs. They flash as well. And the first blood going onto the Ashe, but they're going to trade it over onto the Jarvan. And now Leona's going to have to get out of there. 2 versus 1. She really doesn't have much of an option. A trade back and forth. However, it does look like FroggyStyleMoon, they got the first kill on that.
Yeah, and I saw Ziggs pop cleanse. I don't know if he was under any kind of CC in order for that to happen. Very interesting that he popped it. I think it might have been like a panic cleanse. But, I mean, right now, I noticed that Ashe and Leona burned both of their summoner spells. And Ziggs still has flash up. Jarvan burned everything. So, honestly, Collective Horizon should have an upper hand into them because of them having no summoner spells. Leona does have Hex Flash, but I don't really know how strong that's going to be, when it comes to those, there could be an invade here.
Oh, yeah, but we do have an invade. The Sejuani's taking up quite a bit there. Now the Echo's catching out the counter. She's going to flash over the wall to get out by Raptors. Lee's going to try to go in 2 versus 1, but he does have bot lane moving up as well to try to help, and they're going to let that go. But, yeah, Collective Horizon, I feel like, came out on top with that fight, being able to get the first blood and take that invade, ripping Lee Sin away from some of his Raptors.
Yeah, and I noticed a Kiana flash. I don't really think that she would have needed the flash. If she would have had... So for those that don't know, Kiana's W picks up a certain aspect of the map. So there's water, grass, and earth. The grass Q... the ability...
but we have a fight here quick. Ooh, Kiana took that tower
close.
shot. Very,
She
very
might have actually
close.
had to look for a dive.
Oh, now we have the Ollie flashes in trying to get the kill, and it doesn't matter. Kiana just smacking him right in the face and putting him in his place.
Very well played by Kiana. I feel like that tower shot was not exactly necessary, but it worked out in the end for her. She did pick up that solo kill. Beautiful solo kill. But she has no summoner's nose, so she's going to need to keep that in mind. But if she would have had flash, I feel like she could have, made something happen as Echo was walking on her tower still ignited. But, I mean, if she would have had her grass Q, which grants invisibility, when she throws her Q out, it's a field of invisibility that she can walk through. I feel like she could have saved her flash during that. So that's one thing that I don't really think that in the spur of the moment she was thinking of. But that's just something that she could have improved on.
Yeah, mistakes happen. You do what you can, but she's going to have to play a little bit safer because you're right. She is down all of her summoners, and Echo still does have his Ignite up. So that could turn the tide of mid lane. Bot lane right now changing back and forth, trying to push in towards Collective Horizon. Lee is down there, but he's not going to do much. Gets spotted out by the ward, and he doesn't realize it. And now everyone is slowly coming down to the bot side. Collective Horizon's jungle and mid laner are hovering around the Drake, but it doesn't look like they're going to do much. They're just going to take the scuttle and move on.
Yeah, I want to see an early dragon. Normally the dragon sits in the pit for a couple of minutes and then they try to set up for it. I want to see this. Sadly, it's not happening, but I would have loved to see just a dragon rush off spawn that would have helped out with tempo and just all around stats a lot in the early game.
Yep. Lee Sin wasting a little bit of his time down there is my only issue, and unfortunately he doesn't know this, but he was caught out by that Warden Tribush from Collective Horizon. But now, yeah, he's starting up this Drake like you were talking about. Sejuani is all the way up top by Herald, but Herald isn't up. Echo is coming down, but I don't know if he's going to try to get vision or if he's just going to try to look around. And it looks like Lee is taking quite a bit of damage, but Leona's coming up to try to support. She is spotted out, so they have to know at this point that they are on Drake, but there's nothing really that Collective Horizon can do. And first Drake goes right over to FroggyStyleMoon, balances it out a little bit. They do have the gold, and they are up the kills, so we're going to have to see what Collective Horizon can do in response.
Yeah, I really do like kind of chuckle a little bit at how oblivious Echo was that dragon was going on. I feel like it was very sneakily played by the Lee Sin. If Echo would have just, walked towards that pit and seen that Echo, that was not the Echo, the Lee Sin, it would have been a free kill for Echo. But, didn't really decide to check it. And as a result, they lost dragon and a free kill. So that's something that, maybe he could... Oh, what is going on here?
Oh, here we go. Sejuani getting caught out trying to invade again. Top and bot are coming in to support both sides, and they push the Sejuani right into the wall, and they get the kill over onto the Zillion. And now it looks like the Lee Sin starting to chase down the Set. Zillion's right there with him, trying to support, trying to get as much damage as he can. The Set does get his shield off. He's going to try to flash away, but I don't know if there's much that he can do. Kiana's on the other side of the wall here, and Lee does get that. He's going to get ulted back, but it's not going to matter, and the Set goes down. Kill going over to the Lee Sin.
And that Zillion ultimate is going to help out a lot in these team fights, especially in the picks where he's around. I think last series we saw a frame-perfect Zillion ult, and it pretty much turned the fight around and helped snowball top lane just a little bit. And I want to see that come through from Fuse in the top lane. It's going to be extremely beneficial for his team if he manages to make that happen.
Yeah, that ult there from the Zillion, that's going to help. That helped big time in that fight, and that's only going to continue to help in the entire game. Now it looks like the Kiana and the Echo are going to trade some pleasantries. Echo getting most of the damage there, but Kiana is way ahead on CS, over 20 CS up. And now she's going to get caught out here, though, by the Sejuani, but it doesn't look like the Sej wants to try to fight this battle. They might try to pinch, and I don't think she realizes that they're all there. Yep, she's going to try to go in onto the Echo. He does have the Ignite onto him, and now she does as well. Sej is in hot pursuit. She's going to jump over the wall, and a flash coming in, but the Lee Sin coming to save and kicking her away, saving his mid lane and still going down onto the enemy jungler. He's going to continue to try to beat her up, and Zillion's coming in to try to support as well, but I don't think it's going to matter. And the kill going over to this Lee Sin, who flashes for it.
Beautiful response there by Lee Sin. I feel like if he wouldn't have shown up, that would have been very, very bad for Kiana. But she was in luck. He did show up, and she did burn both summoner spells again. So it seems like she has a very big habit of getting herself into fights where she has to burn flash, she has to, use Ignite to secure that kill. And I feel like that just comes from not knowing, the champion's limits, which happens to all of us, But it's something that she's gonna have struggles with, I'm just assuming.
Yeah, and with that fight, that quickly followed up the Herald, giving FroggyStyleMoon quite a lead. 3k up, 4 kills up. And they are slowly starting to walk away with this fight. However, I believe it's like we said in the draft, I think that Collective Horizon is just waiting for mid to late game for the team fight to pop off. Now, bot side here, Zillion is throwing out a lot of damage, but the Sejuani is going to come in and support this fight. She's going to try to get onto the Zillion, trying to keep him in place and throwing what damage down that she can. But now the Zillion is trying to chase himself out, getting away and underneath the tower, having to flash. Now Sejuani's trying to go in there and trying to get the damage as much as she can, taking some tower shots, and it's really not going to matter. Now, bot side, Leo coming in with the... Oh, no. Just sitting down the Jarvan, using her entire rotation just to sit him there, say, hold still, let my Ashe see you.
Yeah, there was a lot of fights that just happened. And honestly, this is going to be exactly what's going to be happening during the series, I'm assuming, from the side of FroggyStyleMoon. they are very aggressive. And with their team comps, they are able to be aggressive and still have the same amount of CC they need to disengage if things go bad. So I feel like it is able to happen, and they are willing to take that risk because let's not forget that.
Oh no, here comes the
Oh,
fight
boy.
though. Lee Sin might be getting trouble. Jarvan's going to try to go in, but he kicks the Jarvan away. Ziggs does try to get the kill, but barely misses it. And Lee Sin's going to be able to walk away from that fight. What a great job there by the Leo trying to do a Hex Flash over the wall, but she decides to turn back and support her jungler. Great moves by FroggyStyle.
Yeah, and Ziggs did actually burn Flash trying to secure that kill, and Lee Sin sidestepped the Q and just barely lived the empowered auto attack from the Ziggs. And if he would have had any more damage, that Lee Sin would have fallen and given him a free kill.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
and the
boy.
Ashe ult coming in. Oh, no. Wrong place, wrong time. Bush Wookie in it, waiting for somebody to step out of line, and the Ashe Leo just sits him down again and gets the kill.
And there was pretty much no counterplay that could have come out from Jarvan. I mean, he just got locked down
And deleted.
and deleted. And I'm assuming that CC lasted a good maybe 3, 4, 5 seconds. Because, I mean, the amount of abilities that had been used, the Ashe Ultimate, the Leona's entire kit, I feel like there's just no counterplay and no items that you can use. Maybe a QSS to get the extra tenacity after you use the active. But, I mean, honestly, you know, once that's on cooldown, the rest of the team's just going to come through and use their entire rotation of stuff anyway. Still CC you for 4 decades. So it's going to be a very rare go for Collective Horizon.
Yep, and now it looks like FroggyStyleMoon is pushing the mid lane. A lot of Collective Horizon, is sitting around mid, but they're going to disperse. That's going to go back up top. And it looks like the bot's going to move back towards the bot lane. Jarvan trying to spot them out in the river bush, and he does manage to see them. Kiana's going to take out that ward, and they are going to be able to spot the bot lane. Leo coming over with the flash, and she does get the hook right onto the Ziggs, and he is absolutely annihilated by the Kiana. And now the Jarvan's going to have to sit underneath tower, but that tower is very low. Oh, and he gets hit by the ult, followed by the Leo ult. There's nothing he can do again, and he just gets sat. Just sat and destroyed one more time. He is just getting caught out. That is so unfortunate.
Yeah, there was about how many ultimates used during that entire situation bot side? I know that Ashe ulted, I know that Leona ulted, and I know that Kiana ulted, but I don't think that Lee Sin was there. So that was, I mean, the 3 biggest CC ultimates had been used, and that's going to be a small disadvantage the next fight that happens, which might be right now.
Well, no, and the Lee Sin's going to try to go in onto the Sejuani. He does not have his team to follow that up. Getting a little too aggressive, and they're going to back away, but bottom tower is down, but now it looks like the Ashe is going to get caught out. She's going to try to flash over, but the Sejuani's right there, and a perfect use of the blast cone. Lee Sin getting his shield to jump over and get away. Sej is going to try to follow it up, trying to get onto that Lee Sin, but he's not going to, he's going to be able to make it, but the Ashe can't do anything. She used her flash initially to get away. I feel like that was a bit of a sacrifice there to let the rest of her team make it.
Yeah, that was actually beautifully played by both the Ashe and the Lee Sin.
Oh, and the flash coming in from the set trying to grab that Kiana. They're chasing her down, but they're just letting the Zillion push the top tower. And he's going to continue to push the top lane in general. If they don't try to go up there and respond, they may lose another tower if he continues to march down like this.
Yeah, and I never thought I would see this as Zillion split pushing. Very interesting. But he's managing to make it work, responding to the team fights that are happening around the Dragon Pit, around the blue side of the map. Or, sorry, the bottom side of the map. And it's just good calls all around on the side of FroggyStyleMoon.
Yeah, he's using those opportunities when he knows his team doesn't need that fight, because he does have teleport. Plenty of wards in that area for that last fight for him to come in, but losing your ADC in favor of taking, first tier top tower, I'd take that trade.
Yeah, that's actually a really good trade. And it's probably going to happen again for the mid lane, the next fight. They're going to have to drop somebody in order to get that, or they might just wait on the next Rift Herald and just rush that as 5.
Well, now they are all sitting around mid here. Leo is in a bit of trouble, might get caught out, but she's going to manage to make it back down mid. Jarvan gets pushed back by the arrows from Ashe. Oh, and now Kiana's going to get caught out here by the Sejuani. You're going to be followed up by the Echo, and she is going to get absolutely annihilated. But no, she pushes the Echo in and barely misses that kill. Oh, I thought she had that.
Yeah, she just had a little bit of a damage issue. She has the Eclipse. Oh, boy.
Boy here, and now it looks like we have a support fight. They're going to keep going back and forth here, but now the Ziggs is coming in to try to support his support. And the Ashe arrow just barely missing, but the Lee Sin coming in and kicking him away from the tower and keeping him from his protection. And the Ziggs ult's coming in, taking about half the health there from the Ashe, and she goes down. And now Collective Horizon is turning this fight back around. The Leo is way too low to be here, and she is going to die. And now the Lee Sin's in trouble as well. Ziggs and Sejuani following him through his jungle, but they're going to let that go. 2 kills going over to the side of Collective Horizon for none. And now we're getting to the point that we were talking about. As they're grouping up, these team fights might start to turn in the favor of Collective Horizon just based off of their comp. I don't think that FroggyStyleMoon is fed enough to carry this game away, but as long as they continue doing what they're doing, they might be able to.
Yeah, and I think that the reason that FroggyStyleMoon actually failed that was because they tried to use all the ultimates back to back for picks instead of just saving them for a team fight. Now, I feel like if they were to realize this, and it looks like Jarvan's kind of getting a little bit caught out here.
Ooh, he's taking quite a bit of damage. Now the Kiana's coming in here, and she just absolutely annihilates the Jarvan. He got caught out, did not have his flash to get out. You want to get those wards as a support, but sometimes you just got to let them go, especially when you're in a bad position like that. And a third Drake going over to the side of FroggyStyleMoon. They are on Soul Point, and the Soul is Infernal. 5 minutes from now, we're going to see if they can run away with this. And in all honesty, if they can get that Infernal Soul, I don't think that there's much that Collective Horizon can do. But now the Leo coming in onto the Sejuani and just sitting her down with a full rotation. She's going to continue to move, taking the Ziggs ult and just laughing about it as she walks out through the enemy jungle. Great play there by the support.
Yeah, and that was actually a lot of interesting decisions that happened there, because for the 6th time, Jarvan has, gotten picked out over, small things like wards or, just mostly just for wards, but also a couple of times in the bot lane for just trying to wave manage. And as a result, he just got collapsed on by Ashe and Leona a couple times. He's gotten caught out for the vision, like I just said. And I think that, honestly, it's the Jarvan who is building AP by the looks of it.
He is.
Interesting to me. I don't know if he's going fully AP, just a stopwatch, because he keeps on dying a lot. But I do want to see everyone save their ultimates for this fight at the Herald, because I don't think that they realize. Oh, they do realize now that they're on it.
No, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot that FroggyStyleMoon can do. And now the Lee's getting caught out there. 2 CCs, but he's going to break away. Now the Ashe ult coming in, trying to keep everybody out. Lee Sin's going to be in a little bit of trouble, but he does manage to jump out. 1 kill going over to the side of Collective Horizon, and now the Echo going down as well. And an absolutely insane team fight. Sejuani dropping, Leo dropping, Ziggs dropping, Set going, and now the Jarvan's going to try to make it away, but the Lee Sin gets his kick, follows it up, clears them out, and that is an ace for FroggyStyleMoon as they start to march down mid.
Yeah, and the amount of just raw damage that came out from the Ashe was absolutely, it surprised me, because she only has Phantom Dancer and Kraken Slayer. You wouldn't really expect that to do as much damage as it did. But I mean, clearly, with the lethal tempo being fully stacked, she just absolutely melted the set. The ult that came in, I think it hit the Sejuani, absolutely, I would assume, saved that team fight for the side of FroggyStyleMoon. And if she wouldn't have been there, that would have been almost an ace, or maybe an ace if she would have gotten caught out. I think that it was beautifully played by the ADC.
Absolutely. Yep, now that looks like they're clearing out the bottom side jungle here, not giving Sedge too much to try to get for CS. She's keeping relatively close there. The ult coming onto the Echo from the Leo, just barely missing that, manages to jump away. Sedge is waiting for something to happen, but nothing is going to happen as everybody on FroggyStyleMoon starts to shift towards bot. Zillion is still on his own, and he does have TP and a great ult by the Ashe, but the Ziggs uses the cleanse, and I don't think that was a worthwhile cleanse there.
No, I see a lot of abilities and summoner spells being wasted, specifically, like just happened, the cleanse, but also the Ashe arrow and the Leona ultimate I feel like those were completely wasted. They could have been saved for a fight around Baron or maybe even around the bot side turret. Because as we, oh boy, this is gonna. No, I think Set just walks away from that. But around the tier 2 turret at bot side, they actually could have fought that if Leona would have had her ultimate, but because she wasted it for a solo pick, they had to give that turret back.
Well, they do manage to use the Shelly well to crack open mid lane. They do get, I don't think they got any bonus gold for that from bonus objectives, but still, a tower is a tower, and that opens up mid lane for Collective Horizon, allows them to move around a little bit better on the map.
Yeah, and they have to push this a little bit more for it to be even, but it does open up a lot of different opportunities in the jungle because now that turret is not there as a safety net. So, I mean, even though the mid lane turrets are relatively close, that turret not being there does provide a little bit more pressure from the side of Collective Horizon, specifically around getting those picks, because we've seen a lot of, teams trying to collapse to get picks instead of just, team fights, like I previously expected. I expected a lot of team fights around, the cooldowns that Leona and Ashe and Jarvan and, Ziggs, Leona, not Leona, but Sejuani, like, oh boy, and here we go.
No, but here comes the Ashe ult coming right onto the set, and the Leo's going to follow it up. She's going to keep him right there. He's going to try to ult back towards the Ashe, but it's not going to matter. Ziggs throwing his ult and getting quite a bit of damage. Now the Jarvan jumping in, trying to get into the Ashe, but it's not going to matter. She does manage to survive thanks to the Zillion ult. Lee is very, very low. They do lose the Zillion, but I don't think it's going to matter because he kept his ADC alive and he did his job, and now the Kiana is just cleaning up the mess, dropping the Ziggs, trying to go in onto the Echo, but he's just a little too slippery, and he's going to manage to walk away. Not quite an ace, but it will be a Dragon Infernal Soul point for FroggyStyleMoon, and that's going to make a massive difference.
Yeah, that's the kind of fights that I was talking about earlier with, FroggyStyleMoon being able to just absolutely annihilate that Q goes wide from Kiana. That's funny to watch. But that's the kind of team fight potential that I was talking about. They have a good engage, but if they would have, chained it a little bit, they could have made that even better and maybe even have gotten that kill on the Echo.
Oh no, now we have the ult coming onto the Echo from the Ashe. The Jarvan is going to be in a little bit of trouble, but he's going to manage to make it out. And that great ult from the Ashe right onto the Echo, catching him in place, and the rest of the team following it up. They have to try to go for the Baron at this point, I feel like.
Yeah, this is most likely just going to be a Baron call for FroggyStyleMoon. They have to get this in order to end the game fast and just annihilate.
Kiana catching Ziggs out in the bush as he tries to move in, and now it looks like the Sejuani's going to get caught out by the Leo. She does manage to keep her in place. She does have her ult, and she's going to get pinched on. She's going to try to keep her locked down. Ult coming in from the Leo, and she does not survive it. Easy Baron going over to FroggyStyleMoon here.
Yeah, and now that they have this Baron, they should just probably siege mid as 5. Probably take a base, get items, reset their health, reset their mana, and after that, just siege mid as a team because this should be game over right now. They should close this game out early before Collective Horizon even has a small chance to come back.
Yeah, continue pushing with this Baron buff along with Dragon Soul. Elder is coming up in 4 minutes, but if they play this right and they push in the right spots, I don't think that Elder is going to matter. 26-8 and nearly a 10k, over a 10k gold lead. Now it looks like the Zillion's going to get caught out. He's going to flash out of the Jarvan cage, and the Ashe ult coming into the Jarvan, and he does survive that there with the Zhonyas. He tries to get on the tower, but it's not going to matter. The Kiana coming in and just ripping him apart. Now Set tries to come in, pushing the Zillion back, but it's not going to matter again. He does take a lot of damage, and he does drop. Now the Echo tried to come in and follow up, trying to clean up some of this fight. A lot of stuff has gone on the side of FroggyStyleMoon. It is a 3v4 fight right now, but most of the ults on FroggyStyleMoon's side are down, and we have to see what's going to happen as they try to push through mid lane.
And as well, Collective Horizon did also use a lot of ultimates and flashes, specifically Set. And I don't think anyone else flashed. I thought that the other people flashed as a result, but I guess they didn't. Must have just been seeing colors. So I do enjoy the fight that just happened, the couple of fights that just happened, because I love seeing that they're putting pressure with the Baron. I cannot tell you the amount of times in replays that I see that people do not use this pressure that they have with Baron to the fullest advantage. They already pushed in topside. They're keeping the pressure up on mid, and I think Kiana's just going to get caught out here.
Ooh, Kiana in a little bit of trouble. She's going to get caught out by the Sejuani and the Jarvan 4. She gets caught in there, and the Ziggs manages to get the kill. Good shutdown for him. And now the Ashe and the Leo are sitting in the brush, and again, they're going to bushwookie this. They might try to catch this set out, and if they see him, they're going to jump right onto him, and right there it is, Leo coming out with the Ashe, trying to keep him in place. He does use to get a shield. Takes quite a bit of damage out on the Ashe, but it's not going to matter, but it looks like the Lee Sin might be in a little bit of trouble. Oh, he's going to jump over, and he's going to try to start kicking. Manages to get the Sejuani, and he's going to continue. Jarvan 4 jumping over onto the tower, but the tower drops, has absolutely no protection.
Oh.
Zilean is going to ult himself, manages to get away from the Echo, and he's going to be in trouble. Jarvan going down by Lee Sin, and that's 3 more kills onto the side of FroggyStyleMoon. 32-10, and they are just running away with game 1 right now.
Yeah, this should honestly be game over. I mean, the amount of small fights that just happen around the map, they have the pressure that they need to just siege these 2 side lanes and just end the game. And I honestly wonder if if Collective Horizon's going to be able to respawn in time to stop this, because Echo is dead, Jarvan is just coming up, and I don't think that they're fed enough to actually manage to stop this.
No, they do get the Jarvan back up. It is 2v2 here bot side. The Kiana's trying to come in, but she's going to continue to move towards mid, trying to push this tower down. And it looks like FroggyStyleMoon might try to back up and reset. Can't quite get deep enough into the base to finish the game, but still, what a great push here by FroggyStyleMoon.
Yeah, I don't think that this game should last until Elder Dragon, but if they do, they need to have this pressure all the way up to the enemy base in order to safely take this. Because we've seen earlier in the league that there have been multiple lucky steals with, first dragon or second dragon. But if they manage to get a lucky steal with this, not Infernal Soul, sorry, with this Elder Dragon, that could turn the game around for Collective Horizon in the most colossal way. So they cannot fumble this at all. Otherwise, it is just going to be almost game over if they manage to get all these shutdowns.
Yeah, this Elder Drake fight is going to be a pivotal moment here for Collective Horizon. If they can win this fight, or at least push FroggyStyle back far enough and get that Drake, that's going to be enough for them to end it. But now everyone's starting to group up here. Lee Sin getting a kickoff onto the Zig, and he's going to jump in, but no, he's going to get pushed back. And now everybody's going in for the fight, but the set just gets dropped, going in way too deep on FroggyStyleMoon's side. Sejuani following up with a death, and now the Leo's in real deep. Double kill for the Kiana, getting the Ziggs down. They're going to take the Echo as well, and Jarvan's going to try to make it away, getting the blast cone over the wall, and manages to make it back to base safely, but that was the fight that Collective Horizon needed to turn this, and they aren't even going for the Elder. It looks like FroggyStyleMoon's just going to try to end the game.
Yeah, that was actually a slaughterhouse for the Kiana. Did you see her just dash in and instantly one-shot them? That was beautiful, and she does it again.
Yeah,
Huge
gets the
damage
ace. Way too much damage from the mid laner. Game 1 going over to FroggyStyleMoon. Very, very well played by both teams. I mean, overall, the stats don't show it, but you could definitely see the comp that Collective Horizon was trying for. They just let FroggyStyleMoon get too far ahead too early, and they got caught out too many times. The potential was there, they just didn't path right too often.
Yeah, and there was really nothing they could have done with just the amount of raw CC that was coming out from the side of FroggyStyleMoon. I feel like they should have just either played a lot more passive than they did, or have just tried to itemize against the specific damage types a little better, because Echo, as you can see, he has as you saw, he has Seeker's Arm Guard a bit too late trying to block out some of that Kiana damage, but she was way too fed when all was said and done.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to items, the Zhonya's was definitely a good pick by the Jarvan after he was getting caught out too many times, but he can't always use the Zhonya's, and he's getting caught out more times than he can use the Zhonya's, and it just kind of makes the item completely useless if you're going to be caught out like that. Granted, sometimes he just was pinched in a corner and he didn't really have much of an option, but there were plenty of moments where he was just a little too far, or he was just in the wrong spot and the wrong person was there at the wrong time. It just happens. Not a whole lot you can do about it, but Game 2 is going to come up here shortly, folks. Let's see if Collective Horizon can try to turn this around now that they know how everything is drafting and what they can do. Stay tuned. Stick around. We'll be back shortly.
slowly drifting by. All the poems I wrote for you, they made me blind, they made me lie. Heard you in the rain, will you always be there? Last thing you said, sorry if it's too late. Heard you in the rain, will you always be there? Last thing you said, sorry if it's too cloudy skies and lips of fire and stars between these two worlds. You try to find your own. I try to run, try to hide. I needed to survive. Heard you in the rain. Will you always be there? Last thing you said, sorry if it's too late.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're going to be getting into game 2 here. FroggyStyleMoon against Collective Horizon. FroggyStyleMoon going up 1 game in the series of 3, quite dominantly. There really wasn't much debate on there. Not that Collective Horizon didn't have plenty of good plays here and there. Just like we said before, they just got caught out in a couple of fights. Couldn't really do much about it.
Yeah, and I think this is actually really good for Collective Horizon because now they get to see the type of team that they're facing. They felt them out. They see how their play styles are, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and if they're able to capitalize on that, they're going to pull through this series. But at the same time, right? They've seen them play from ahead. Now they need to see how they play from behind, right? Because like we saw last series, somebody won a game with a pentakill, completely unseen, right? They farmed up, they did everything properly, and they managed to pull that game back. So I do expect to see a very close second and third game because now they felt each other out.
True. Very, very true. We're going to be jumping into the draft here shortly. What changes do you think we might see here. I mean, are they going to try to ban out what was in the last game, or they might try to stick with what they have?
I mean, as we can see so far, I mean, I don't see any changes really besides the Ash.
Yep. Arthas and Ezreal on the side of Froggy Style for the first two bans. Zach, Rakan, and Ash going, and followed by a Janna for the third pick for Froggy Style. First pick for Collective Horizon, and they're going to go with Hovering the Ornn, and they're going to go ahead and lock that in.
Love seeing Ornn in these games. Love it.
Mm,
The advantage that he gives his entire team is just it's almost completely overpowered.
yeah, especially when you get to late game, all those boosts that he gives to your
Yeah.
items, and just his kit as well is just so great for a team fight.
Yeah, there's the Zillion again. That's going to be
Here's the
fun.
question though: is it a top lane Zillion?
Maybe. Quite possibly could be.
They're going to pick the Zaya to follow that up. It looks like they're going to hover it, waiting to see if they decide to lock that in. Yeah, that Zillion, from what we've seen from Froggy Style, that could go top, mid, bot. Well, not a support anymore, so I'm going to bet that might be a mid or a top because they're getting the Leo and opting out of an ADC. I think they want to see what Collective Horizon chooses for their next two picks.
Yeah, I'm really starting to see kind of a pattern from FroggyStyleMoon. They're locking in the same things that were not banned. And if they manage to get an ADC who has a lot of engaged potential, that Ash ban might not really matter. Oh boy,
No, that's
it's
true.
Alistar.
Oh, and an Alistar. Ooh, this might be a much, much more aggressive comp here from Collective Horizon. Not that they didn't have one before, but I'm starting to like this one a little bit better. Hovering on their third and final pick for this round. 10 seconds left. Let's see what they decide to go with. If they decide to choose an ADC or decide to pick another lane. And it looks like they are going to take the Zaya. So they're going to take the Zaya. Might have been a pick ban there since FroggyStyleMoon was hovering it at one point. But I think a Lucian wouldn't be a bad idea here for Froggy Style.
Yeah, I do want to see an ADC that has a lot of mobility because a lot of the damage they have is, skill shots. The Ornn damage. I wouldn't really say that Ornn's damage is a skill shot. He basically just walks forward, breathing fire. But Zaya's stuff can be dodged. I don't really know about Alistar. He's kind of like a get on top of you, can't really do anything. Ornn, you can dodge out on his ultimate if you're, sneaky enough. But besides that, I would love to see, and we do see a Tristana getting picked, so that's very mobile.
That's not a bad idea there because she can get back. Leo can engage, and even if she's too far, she can easily re-engage if she needs to and pop somebody out.
Right. I'm wondering who they're going to ban. There's the
Well, it
Echo.
looks like they're going to get the Echo, so that's definitely not a bad idea because the last game the Echo was still doing halfway decent and throwing out a pretty good amount of damage. And it looks like Collective Horizon is going to take out the LeBlanc. Vigar going for the last ban on Froggy Style's side. Let's see who they choose for the last one. They're probably going to try to focus, I want to say, a mid laner, and they will. They'll decide to take the Kiana out.
Yeah, that Kiana last game was an absolute powerhouse. I'm not too surprised in that, man.
I'm surprised it wasn't in the first round.
Right. I can understand why, they want to focus on banning the Rakan and the Zachary because those two champions are nasty when it comes to team fights.
Very, very true. Yeah, they can really turn a game around if they need to. And it looks like Froggy Style is going to pick up the Lee Sin, so pretty much a mirror comp minus the Ash from Froggy Style. Now they're not going to get a full mirror because the Kiana's out. But what do you think they're going to pick instead?
I want to see a good mage in the mid lane. They're lacking on a little bit of AP, so I need to see a good zone controlling, damage dealing mage. That might very well be a Victor.
Are you sure it's not the Zillion?
I mean, the Zillion top last game, probably not going to change that much. Could be Zillion mid, but I'm just going to go ahead and assume that's going to be a Zillion top.
And it looks like Collective Horizon chooses the Wukong. And I'm going to bet that that's a Wukong jungle. Let's see what their last pick here is going to be. And it's going to be, a Vladimir. Yeah, so that's going to be a Wukong jungle and a Vladimir mid. Oh, nope, they're going to switch it quickly over to the Vex. and lock that in. That's still not a bad choice there. Let's see what FroggyStyleMoon decides to respond with, if they're going to put that Zillion back top lane, or if they're going to pick something else and shift him back mid.
I'm assuming it's going to be a Victor. Oh, Syndra. That's just as
Ooh.
good.
That's not
Huge
bad
team
at
fight
all.
potential. Huge team fight potential.
For sure. Now here's the thing. It's good team fight, and there's a lot of damage there on Froggy Style's side. But I want to point out something here on Collective Horizon's side. They have a strong front line.
Huge
Alistar,
front line.
Ornn, they can take a lot of damage. Wukong can sneak his way in. Vex can ult herself in if she manages to make the hit. And the Xayah just throws out a lot of damage. If she gets caught out or she gets too deep, as long as her teammates are around, she can ult, dodge what she needs to dodge. And if she lands her feathers right, somebody's going to get locked down and get in trouble.
But at the same time, on the side of FroggyStyleMoon, they do have a very strong engage and disengage. Yet again, the Lee Sin kick, the Syndra QE combo, Fiona as a champion, Tristana's ultimate, and Zillion's stun is just absolutely overpowered when it comes to these team fights. I think that they, again, like we just saw last game, they can play aggressive and defensive, when they need to. Now, with that being said, it is going to be a little bit difficult to deal with the front line that Collective Horizon has. But if Syndra and Tristana and Lee Sin manage to itemize against it, I feel like they won't have as much problems as they would, just based on what you see here.
For sure. It's definitely going to be front to back there. They have the potential, but you're right. I think it's really going to come down to items, or if they can get an early game lead to make it not really matter. But late game, I think Collective Horizon, as long as they don't step out of line too much, I think they have the better late game comp.
Yeah. I would say that their late game is pretty good. I'd say that both late games are pretty good because Tristana is very strong late game. Syndra scales really well. Lee Sin, I'm not really too sure about Lee Sin when it comes to lethality. We saw him build lethality. I'm assuming it was lethality because, short-term memory is kind of bad sometimes. But I'd say that both teams are good for team fights, but Collective Horizon does scale harder because the Ornn items and because the just amount of raw damage that Xayah can do as she manages to stay ahead or get a lead. The Vex as a champion has a lot of damage, self-peel, and CC. Her W shield is sometimes the difference between living and dying. So this is going to be a close one yet again.
Very, very interesting game in front of us. Well, we're going to take a short break, folks. We're going to let you guys stew over these champion picks. Let us know what you guys think. Make your predictions. Choose what side you want. We'll be back shortly for game 2.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We gonna light it up. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We gonna light it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize. We are having some technical difficulties with the game. We have to reset it and reload it, unfortunately, so we will be another couple of minutes. In the meantime, we just wanted to come in and say we're sorry for all of this. Things happen. It's League. Video games. Right, Zed?
Yeah, right games. 100%.
Riot games. Riot. It's always Riot's problem.
Always
But
Riot games.
while we're here, we do want to remind everybody, if you get a chance, go ahead and click follow. It'll let you know when we're having our games, when the league's going on. Monday through Thursday, we have best of threes each day, rotating teams around. And then after that, we will eventually have the playoffs, but we got to get through the regular season. On top of that, we are pushing to try to get towards 500 followers. And when we get to that point, we will have a giveaway. So make sure that you follow so you can have a chance to win. What are we giving away? Some mouses, keyboard and mouse. Yep. So go ahead and follow us, spread it around, let people know how awesome we are, how terrible we are, and how much you like to enjoy laughing at us. I mean, either way, right, Zed?
Yeah, either way, just go ahead and let people know.
We'll take the haters too. Makes us happy as well.
Exactly.
Well, we're gonna go back into a quick break to let everybody set up here quick a second. Bear with us for a couple more minutes. We're going to get everybody loaded in, get everything set up, and we will be into game 2 here shortly. Stick around.
They was sleeping, they was snooze on me. I was dreaming about what food to eat. Why they sleeping, why they snoozed on me? I was seizing opportunity. Now they don't know what to do with me. I keep going hard like I'm in puberty. Rebellion's in my blood, there ain't no ruling me. Coming for the top, this is a mutiny. Top, this is a new. Hey, you buy my shit, I want percentage, yeah. Put you in your mind like fucking Guinness, yeah. You never had a chance like an abortion. Pocket, you don't wanna play with me, this forfeit. Oh shit, took it to a place they never thought he could. Now the lone wolf is howling up in Bollywood. Now I got some confidence, they call me cocky. Put your fucking Tiger in the eye, I feel like Rocky. I am untouchable, I cannot fuck with you. I do not follow rules, makes me uncomfortable. I got all this passion and desire. Was my path, but with the fire, never passing by quiet till I'm crashing your empire. They were sleeping, they were snooze on me. I was dreaming about what food to eat. Why they sleeping, why they snoozed on me? I was seizing opportunity. Now they don't know what to do with me. I keep going hard like I'm in puberty. Rebellion's in my blood, there ain't no ruling me. Coming for the top, this is a mutiny. Don't know what to do with me. Coming for the top, this is a mutiny. This is a mutiny.
My heart rages around like an ocean in my head because
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Thank you for your patience. Going into game 2, FroggyStyleMoon against Collective Horizon, switching sides, and again, everyone's going out to line of scrimmage, sitting here on the river, and we are just going to play it safe, it looks like, for this early game.
Yeah, and I noticed that Lee Sin for this game and last game has done something very interesting. So when they set up this 5-point, Lee Sin goes to the middle of the lane, so that way they do not know which side he's going to start. Which actually puts the Collective Horizon side at a big disadvantage when it comes to jungle tracking because they don't know which side he's going to start. And I feel like that's very, very well played by the jungler and as well as the team for helping him set that up.
Yeah, knowing and being able to track where your enemy jungler is very, very important. Alistar doing some Moo Alistar stuff over there. Best skin in the game.
Love it, love it.
That cowbell music.
Cowbell music. There was an Alistar I had in one of my solo queue games that only spammed "You can't milk those," one of the voice lines that he has. He spammed it literally the entire game off cooldown. It was insane.
What a toxic
Very-
SOB.
Right.
Well, it looks like we are having a opposite start here. The Wukong is going to be starting on his blue, and the Lee Sin is going to be starting on his blue bot. And they're going to go ahead and go top to bottom, it looks. Or bottom to top for the Lee and top to bottom for the Wukong. Some pleasantries exchanged between the lanes. Not a whole lot happening.
Yeah, and I want to see an early gank from the Wukong. I would love to see a level 3 gank coming out towards bot side. I think that would put, if it manages to work, I think that would put Xayah and Alistar ahead by a disgusting amount if they actually manage to get that double kill. And they actually hit level 2 first.
Yeah, we're
huge.
going to have to see if he manages to path down in time to get there. They do get the level 2 over on Collective Horizon's side, or excuse me, Froggy Style's side. They don't do much with it, and now Collective has their own level 2 as well. Wukong slowly making his way over. He is pathing down a little bit faster than the Lee, so he's going to be able to get a gank off sooner. So the Lee might have to try to push towards top and see if he can't try to get that Ornn and help get that Zillion ahead. Or if he's lucky, he can try to get that Vex.
Yeah, and last game that we saw with Fuse on Zillion, it was very, very cancerous to have to try to lane as that set. And now there's someone even less, that has even less potential than the set. He's playing Ornn this time. And I feel like Zillion, oh my goodness, that gank did not work out too well.
No, not quite what we wanted to see there. It was the gank that we were hoping for, but not the one that we wanted.
Yeah, at least it's the thought that counts. The thought that counts.
Yep. At least he was there and he tried.
Exactly.
Now it looks like Scuttle's going to be taken here by the Wukong, and the opposite is going to be taken topside by the Lee Sin. I don't think there's much that he can do, but now the Ornn going in onto the Zillion, he does get locked into place, throws out a bit of damage, but yeah, that Zillion just keeping him at bay, not a whole lot that he can do about it.
Yeah, that Ornn is not going to be able to sustain as well as the set was last game. So I feel like he's at a massive disadvantage laning into the Zillion because the Zillion is so strong in the laning phase and like his damage is so potent, it's just extremely difficult to even attempt to lane with it.
Yep, it looks like the Lee Sin decides to go in deep, getting a ward down. He's going to wait for the Gromp, and he is going to steal that from the Wukong and maybe try to get up towards top side. Now it looks like Collective Horizon bot side is going to be pushing into that tower. They're going to move up towards river. Quite a quiet game so far early here.
Yeah, but I'm anticipating a dive coming in off the top side from FroggyStyleMoon. I would love to see that actually be attempted, and I think he's actually going to be able to pull this off.
Yep, here we go. He has no idea, though, he's spotted out by the ward. Ornn's going to keep his distance and not give him the opportunity. Zillion's trying to lock down the Ornn, and nothing's going to happen for that. Lee Sin is just a little bit too far away to be able to do much of anything, and he won't get the minions to come in to stop the tower shots. Ornn's going to keep them at bay, and Lee's going to have to back, unfortunately. Oh, no, he's going to stick around. Oh, and Ornn, very, very low. Lee Sin might try to take the risk, and he is going to jump to a minion, jump straight to him, flashing away, taking the last tower shot, and he gets out of that. First blood going over to FroggyStyleMoon.
Yeah, that was very well played by the Lee Sin. And I feel like if after that airborne he would have flashed away, if Vikings would have managed to flash away, I feel like that would actually could have been turned around, and he could have picked up a kill. That would have been really good for him. But now, put at a massive disadvantage because he just burns the teleport. He gets back up there to catch everything. But that does put a lot of gold into Lee Sin's pocket because that was the first blood, which in turn puts him way ahead of Wukong. And I think we're going to be able to get some more aggressive plays from the Lee Sin when it comes to ganking on the lanes.
Nope, and now the Tristana is going to try to go and gets locked down by the Xayah. Not a whole lot's going to happen for that. Syndra pushing in mid. And now it looks like the bot lane is going to try to do something, but they're not going to be able to do much when they're under tower like that. Wukong walking around, clearing some wards, and it's still relatively quiet. Oh, Ornn jumping in here onto the Zillion, trying to get as much damage as he can. Zillion trying to throw a return of damage back to him, and they're going to let that one go.
Yeah, and the Dragon's up. I want to see Collective Horizon try to push for this Dragon because they have bot side priority. And Zillion, Zillion. Vex had the roam, and she's back in the mid lane now, but I think they're just going to be able to pull this off uncontested unless the enemy, unless FroggyStyleMoon walks up and has something to say for it.
Not a whole lot they can do. Wukong has his smite, the Lee Sin's already back towards base, and they're going to have to let that first one go over to Collective Horizon's side. And let's see if they try to engage her. Alistar jumping in onto the Leo. Xayah throwing out a lot of damage there, but not quite getting what she needs. Now the Tristana jumping in and trying to throw what she can down, but now we have 3 down here. Wukong trying to get onto that Leo. Can't quite get it, and the Alistar kicking back the Lee. And now we have Vex down here, and she manages to get the kill onto the Lee Sin. Syndra's a little bit too late to come in here and help her team, and now we have 4 down bot trying to push towards bot side tower. And now this is becoming a game, folks.
Yeah, that's actually very good for the side of Collective Horizon because they managed to get that wave in return. They could actually look for a base, or they might just set up for a dive with Wukong. And I wonder what they're going to opt for. I think they're just going to let that happen. Might just walk away from it and try to counter invade or counter jungle.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't have the wave to try to do that, but he is sticking around towards the jungle there. He's trying to steal that blue. Lee Sin probably should have came over and tried to take that blue first instead of the wolves, because now he's going to come around, realize that that's gone, and now he is down a buff.
Yeah, and especially since we saw Wukong so far, into the jungle that Lee Sin has, he should have instantly said, "Hey, you're probably gonna try to take my stuff."
Oh
boy,
no, but here we have the Ornhorn coming in. It's 3 versus 1 coming down the mid lane. Flash coming from the Syndra. Not a whole lot's going to be able to happen. She's going to push the Ornn away, get underneath the tower, and she's going to survive. A good attempt by an engage there, but she was just a little too close to her safety net.
Yeah, and she was ignited, which is weird because I think that Vex may have ignited me. Just the thing might be a little bit bugged out. The champion things on the left and the right might be a little bit bugged out. No, I guess it's just part of the league plan, I guess. But she was ignited, and the only one that has ignite besides Alistar is Vex. So I guess it's just a bug. But
she is going to be down, but now the Leo is going to be here trying to do something with the Vex. Alistar is following it up to protect his mid laner. So the Leo is going to have to back away and head down towards bot. Syndra is going to... Nope, she's not going to back. She's going to stick around. Xayah and Tristana exchanging some pleasantries. And everyone's sitting pretty at the moment.
Yeah, I am expecting this team fight.
Oh no,
boy.
Now the Leo might get caught out here, but she's going to go right in onto the Vex. The Vex is going to flash out and try to do something about it, but she can't get away from the Lee Sin. He's going to get the kill, and now the Leo getting a great ult onto the Wukong, and he's going to get caught out, and he's going to drop as well. Double kill going over for the Lee Sin, and he's slowly starting to march away with this fight, getting a little fed. Now the Tristana trying to go on to the Xayah, but not going to get what she needs. Either way, FroggyStyleMoon, excuse me. I can't keep these two teams straight right now. They are doing quite well here in the early game, up almost 1.5k give or take, and they're up 2 kills. They do have the advantage, but that doesn't mean that this game can't turn around in favor of Collective Horizon.
Yeah, and I do see that Lee Sin is opting for the Gore Drinker, which means he's going to be a lot beefier than he would if he was going Eclipse. So that should make these team fights a little bit longer as in terms of healing. So I want to see some heal cut. I want to see some heal cut come out from Collective Horizon to maybe try to help with the healing that Tristana's going to have and the healing that Lee Sin's going to have with that Gore Drinker. But we have seen in the league that people don't really like to build the heal cut. We had a couple of interviews and people just said that they're not going to waste 800 gold on a heal cut item. And, as a result, they lost the game.
It's definitely a worthwhile thing to try to consider. Top side, Ornn and Zilean exchanging. Leo completely missing that hook down bot side. Zilean pushing down Ornn underneath his tower. They're exchanging back and forth, and now the Wukong going into river, clearing out some wards, and the Lee Sin is here, and they might try to collapse onto this Wukong. And he might be able to get away from that. No, he's going to get stunned right into the wall. Lee Sin following it up, getting knocked back by the Wukong. But I don't think it's going to matter, and he gets dropped by the Syndra.
Absolutely beautiful play. Oh, and they're still fighting.
No, they're still trying to go after it, but Lee Sin's going to manage to make it out, jumping to an ally. I like that bot lane tried to come up and help, but Lee Sin was just a little too slippery, and he managed to get away from that pinch.
Yeah, that's why Lee Sin is so terrifying sometimes, because when he manages to...
Wait a second here. Yeah. I don't think they have any idea that the Leo and the Tristana are both right there, jumping onto the Xayah, and she takes out a lot of damage, with Xayah coming in with the ult, and she manages to just miss locking down the Tristana with her ult. She sidestepped that. I thought she was locked and dead right there, but a great move by the ADC by FroggyStyle.
Yeah, Tristana played that very well, and this is just probably an uncontested dragon unless Wukong gets ballsy and tries to go in.
He might try to go for it. He tries to go for the ADC, but now we do have Vex coming in to try to support. They do have the Alistar as well, trying to push everybody back. Oh, but no, Tristana does manage to get the kill onto the jungler, and there's nothing that they really can do. Alistar pushing the Tristana back and away, resetting the dragon. They don't get it, but they manage to stop it.
And that securing that kill onto Wukong just basically secures the lead that Lee Sin has and I honestly want to see him extend his lead.
Oh no,
into
but here
at
comes
least-
the Ornhorn knocking up the Syndra. She's going to get caught out, and Froggy Style is going to lose their mid laner. Kill going over to the Xayah, and they might try to start this Drake up. Nope, they're just going to clear the wards and back away.
Yeah, and they could have potentially started, but I think they had anticipated that Lee Sin was coming, and if Vex would have rotated over, stalled out that fight just long enough for Wukong to show up, I feel like that could have been a very beneficial fight for Collective Horizon.
Vex was a little too low, I think, to try to do that, but now she might get caught out here by the Zilean, and she does, and the Wukong as well getting caught there in the river bush, and now this is definitely a Drake going over to the side of FroggyStyleMoon.
And there's really nothing they can do at this point. I mean, FroggyStyleMoon have constantly shown time and time again that they mesh very well. Their teamwork is next level. And we have some other teams in the league also that have this image that they've been putting out. So I cannot wait to see those two teams clash. But as of right now, they're just nonstop being aggressive towards Collective Horizon. And they really don't know how to respond because I think they're used to like a more passive style of play. And FroggyStyleMoon is just not letting that happen at all.
No, they're just way too aggressive. They're taking the lead, and once they have the lead, they're just running with it.
Yeah, and I wonder what Mythic Leona is going to, Leona and Alistar is going to try to opt for. I know that Evan Trout is a very popular choice with Leona, but I think that for team fights, it might be a little. Oh boy, that I
The
don't
Flash
know
trying to go
was.
on to the Tristana. The Leo might get caught out here, 3 versus 2. She manages to ult and slow everybody down. Tristana throwing out quite a bit of damage to force everybody away, and she does survive that. Very well done. But now the Ornn and the Zilean going back and forth here top side. Zilean managing to lock down the Ornn, but can't quite get the damage. Oh, but now the Wukong gets caught out. But now the Vex is coming in with the rest of her team. Xayah getting 1 kill, Vex getting the other, and now they're trying to chase down the Syndra. The Lee Sin is here to try to support, but I don't think that there's a whole lot that he can do. Oh no, but he does kick onto the Vex, and he manages to kill. Syndra's going to turn around and try to support her jungler, and now the bot side for Collective Horizon is going to get ripped apart. Ult coming there from the Xayah, missing as Flash comes out from the Syndra, and she gets the kill. Oh no, by Ornn, throwing out Ornhorn, trying to get what he can on the kills there for Zilean, and he is just too fast, and he manages to walk away from that. What a great turnaround there by FroggyStyleMoon.
Absolutely beautifully played by Lee Sin and Syndra. And we've seen Barista King pick a lot of different, LeBlanc was some of them that I think he may have picked in preseason and in week 1, and absolutely took over the game. And now that it's on a more team fight oriented champion, I would love to see how his mechanics show in these team fights, because the LeBlanc, we saw him absolutely outplay time and time again, but Syndra's not near as mechanically skilled in my personal opinion. Oh, and just gets caught out.
Well, that's unfortunate. She gets caught out by the entire team there. But Alistar is now coming in here. Flash coming from the Leo. Manages to get away. Excuse me, Flash came out from the Lee Sin. And they do walk away with that dive under the tower.
And Lee Sin is just too slippery then.
Oh, just crazy slippery. There's really not a whole lot you can do, especially if he has a teammate around that he can jump to. You really can't do much about it. Now the Leo's back down here with her support, with her ADC, manages to just get the edge of that ult. Tristana taking a lot of damage, getting the heal off, and the ignite from the Leo is going to get the kill. Wukong's going to come in and try to do something about this fight. He's going to try to jump onto... Nope, not going to happen. Can't get the jump, gets knocked back by the Tristana, and they're going to have to let that one go.
Yeah, and I think that Tristana may have been able to look for a kill with Leona frontlining, but I think they were just wanting to play a little bit safer because their lead is so fragile right now, especially since it's still like early to mid-game-ish around that time. So I feel like they're just wanting to play as safe as possible and just get this game secured as fast as they can, because they know how easy it is for these teams to come back.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, when they saw with their sister team, they managed to come back last minute. As long as they play safe and they continue to do what they're doing within the next 10 minutes, it's almost going to be impossible for Collective Horizon to turn this around unless they can do something. And now the Xayah is going to get caught out here. Lee Sin and the Zilean coming in here. Zilean taking quite a bit of damage from the tower. Oh no, but the Alistar coming in, knocking everybody away. Manages to just miss getting that kill. The Zilean coming in with his ult, but the Wukong getting dropped down here by Drake, the Zaya going down, and now the Alistar is going to follow along with the Ornn, and FroggyStyleMoon all over the map is just clearing out Collective Horizon.
Yeah, and I think this might just be a wrap as far as I can tell. I mean, everyone on the side of FroggyStyleMoon is fed. Their gold leads are massive, and if Collective Horizon managed to farm better, I feel like they would have a decent chance coming back late game, specifically because those Ornn items are so strong. But right now, I mean, their farm is not up to standard. Their KDA and their items are not up to standard. So I think it's going to be extremely hard for them to come back from this unless FroggyStyleMoon somehow managed to throw the game in a very colossal way.
Absolutely, yeah. Speaking of the CS lead here, ranging anywhere from 10 to 30 CS lead, everybody on Froggy Style is ahead except for the supports, which doesn't really matter there.
Yeah, and at the same time, supports have a little bit, of a more of a they have a lot more strength to them. I've seen Leona top. There's a player in Korea who plays a lot of supports top lane. I saw him face Baus when he was still on his challenger grind. He just recently hit it, but he fought a player who played Leona top against him, and he was struggling. Leona is so tanky, and her damage is very surprising. So
Yeah.
I feel like that experience could potentially save a team fight if she's a little bit tankier and a little bit, her stats are just a little bit better than Alistar's. But
Oh no, the Zio getting caught out by the Tristana trying to fight one-on-one, but the Trist just throwing out way too much damage. They do get the Shelly pushing down mid, getting second tier, and they're going to march on to the other tower. Oh, and a great Ornhorn there onto the Tristana, catching her at the perfect spot where she jumped, getting the shutdown, but honestly, I think it's on the wrong person. Now the Leo getting a double team ult, getting two members down, Lee Sin and Syndra coming in to clean up. Froggy Style just running away with this.
Yeah, and I think they could just push down mid and end because there's two people down on the side of Collective Horizon and only Sword down on FroggyStyleMoon. So at the very least, they should be able to collect this turret, but I guess they can't. The team responded very well, so they pretty much have to give that. But they might try to set up for a Baron. That's what I want to see. I want to see a Baron call.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea. They are way too far away from it, and they might just try to continue to steal jungle, but it looks like Lee Sin's going to try to go onto the Wukong. He's going to use the Blast Cone to get out, but he might try to take this red buff, and he does. And now the Leo jumping onto the Zaya, flashing over the wall to get away to safety, and they are going to walk away very happy with that engage and with all those steals.
Yeah, and this Zillion has been very strong in these fights. The stun, the revive, especially, it's so good, and especially since Lee Sin is an all or nothing, engage. Lee Sin pops back into a fight low, and I think Tristana's just he gets away.
No, but with that.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say with that Kraken Slayer though, now that she has that, had he stuck around, she would have ripped right through that Ornn.
Oh yeah, and there should be a Lord Dominic's Regard coming out for Tristana, and I'm anticipating that.
Oh, and now we have an engage here coming in from the Alistar, trying to throw what he can to keep everybody away. Vex getting what damage she can. Zaya's pushing down bot side, trying to do what she can to help her team push towards the base, but everybody is up around the top side here, getting pushed in onto Collective Horizon's side. Nobody's responding to that Zaya, but I don't think they care, because with the numbers they have, if they can win the fight, they're going to push a lane really hard, and Zaya recognizes that is going to back.
Yeah, I think that was a really good call from Zaya, especially because she can't really split push as, I guess she's just going to stay in.
Oh, no, she's going to stick around, and now the fight's going to happen. The Ornhorn trying to come in, but he's going to drop before he can do anything about it. Alistar trying to push back the Lee Sin, trying to survive this fight. Wukong coming in to save his support, and they do keep everybody at bay, and they manage to let that go. And now Zaya is going to try to continue to march down bot side here, but looks like the Zillion's going to... Nope, he's not... Maybe back? Make up your mind, everybody. Come on, you're killing me.
Yeah, and Zaya getting that much gold from the tier 2 turret from the bot side, actually really, really good for her. That puts her almost back in the game when it comes to gold, because now she gets it back almost by, almost an entire item maybe. Yeah, she buys her entire Miramata, and just now she's a champion. Now she has team fight potential because of the extra auto attack damage from the Miramata, and because Eclipse, the passive gives percentage damage, and it's just so good.
And it looks like Froggy Style is going to go for a very early Baron here. Tristana ripping right through the neutral objective. About a third health left, and it looks like Collective Horizon is going to come in here and respond. And Froggy Style is going to have to jump away. Ornn going in and engaging. And the Vex coming in to follow up with her ult. But they're going to catch her out. She's going to try to keep herself alive. But the Wukong is going to go down. Froggy Style moving in really quickly onto Collective Horizon. Taking down the Alistar. Taking down the Ornn. And now there are only 2 members left of Collective Horizon. And the Vex is going to die as well. Can't take anybody with her. And the Xayah is the only one standing. And this is going to be an easy early Baron for Froggy Style. And they're just going to use that to march right up to the base.
Yeah, and Leona used her mythic active to actually save Borussia King's life, and I think that my jaw hit the floor when I saw that. I don't really know that many supports that would have the reaction time to do that. So good on you, Leona. But this fight specifically, I saw Zillion ult the Lee Sin like I had talked about earlier, and it allowed him to do maximum damage, having that revive and having the healing while he's So when he was reviving, right? Somebody died that he had dealt damage to, so Death's Dance healed him. So on top of that, he got even more health, practically full HP back from that revive. That was really, really good, and that allowed that fight to be won, knowing that they had the safety net of Zillion's ult.
It was very, very well played, and now it looks like FroggyStyleMoon is going to move on this next Drake, getting their 3rd Drake, 2nd Infernal, and they are on Soul Point, and they are moving right up through the jungle here. Leo completely missing her ult, but I don't think it's going to matter. She's going to try to grab the Alistar. She managed to make the hook. She's going to try to hold him in place, but he's going to continue to move forward. Lee Sin managing to get his kick and moving in onto the Alistar. They do manage to get this kill, but a TP coming in over from the side of Collective Horizon. Now Ornn trying to come in and push the rest of the team back, saving the rest of his teammates. But now it looks like Froggy Style is going to catch him out underneath the turret there, and they are now going to start moving in on the bottom side tier 2. Xayah is trying to get what CS she can to try to get what money she can. Lee Sin going in, trying to get the kickback, and they're going to get the Vex. They're going to follow it up. Looks like with the Wukong, Leo taking all the tower shots there to try to keep her team alive, and now they have cracked the base, and they are moving on to the bottom side inhib. They might try to end this one here.
Yeah, I think they definitely have the damage and the numbers to actually manage to pull that off. But I'm thinking, yeah, there it is.
The Xayah is going to throw up her ult and try to survive, but 2 kills coming down there onto the Tristana, an ace, and now they're going to push right onto the Nexus, taking down the first tower. Looks like they're going to try to take down the second tower. Ornn is up, but I don't think there's anything that he can do about that, and it looks like FroggyStyleMoon is going to 2-0 Collective Horizon here.
Beautiful game. Beautiful game. The teamwork that I just witnessed, the close calls when it comes to people dying in fights, and that Zillion coming in clutch with that ultimate. It was very, very well played. I love to watch it.
Good games, good games. Not the one-sided fights we want to see, but nothing we can do when that kind of stuff happens. That kind of stuff happens. We know where Froggy Style was. They were working well. They had great team comms. They were engaging. They were communicating. Where does Collective Horizon go from here?
I think that they need to realize their weaknesses. Their team comps aren't exactly playable into some of these other ones that for example, this team comp that FroggyStyleMoon just created, or some of the other ones that we've seen, the ones where the solo lane skills that they have are expressed, and that allows them to then carry that game because they got so far ahead in their own lanes. They need to realize what their weaknesses are, work on those weaknesses as a team, not just individually. Of course, they still have their own weaknesses they need to personally work on, but I feel like their teamwork is the biggest issue in these games that they're going to be playing throughout the weeks, because and if they can't get that situation fixed, it's going to severely hinder their performances coming on in the next couple of weeks.
Well, not only that, but it's like you said earlier, I don't think that they're used to such an aggressive comp. And the other thing too with this is I like their comp. I like what they have here in game 2. But it's like we said, this is kind of a late game comp. Now that's not to say that Froggy Style doesn't have a late game comp either, but if played correctly and not allowed to give Froggy Style the opportunity to get ahead, they can win that fight. I feel like they didn't play. They should have played a much safer earlier game, allow the Ornn to get everybody up with his passive, upgrading everybody's items, and give the Zaya a chance to start coming online. That could have changed and made the difference for them. It would have probably pushed the game to late 30s, early 40s minutes, and it would have been a long, grueling one. But I think that was the idea that they needed to have, but they just didn't execute it. Maybe they had a different plan that I didn't know about, but based off of the comp, I would have liked to see that a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, they probably realize their weaknesses, and I hope for future reference that they're going to work on those more often.
Very true. Very, 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 very true. Well, that is a 2-0 for the side of FroggyStyleMoon. That is the end of week 2. We are going to see what happens next week. We have interviews coming up. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with the members of FroggyStyleMoon and see what they have to say about that game. Stay tuned, bear with us, and we'll be right back.
The seasons come and go like thoughts of you. Like a wave returns to the sea into the blue. They change but in a cycle that I can't lose. Each painful but delightful to live through. You came into my life dressed like another season. Like something just in time, dressed like another season. You came into my life dressed like another season. Like something just in time, dressed like another season. The seasons turn and change just like your mind. Like the sun gives into the moon, into the night. Time continues marching, it slowly crawls. With each new one starting, I recall. You Come my way this season.
I've been running for so long. I'm clear about the path I was on. I was breathless, my heart restless. Every turn felt like it was wrong, but I kept going to show I was strong. Pushing.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with the MVPs of Game 1 and Game 2, Fuse and Smurfdon. Welcome, guys. Very interesting game from you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for Game 1 and Game 2, Fuse, for you, the Zillion, number one, you chose it topside, which we don't see very often for something like that. But two, you also had some clutch ults, not in just game one, but in game two, keeping people alive in crucial moments. You know, was that the whole game plan? Were you expecting to win early game and then just be a pivotal point for the team in team fights?
I think there's just a lot of things that are played right now that aren't really a threat to Zillion. I can kite it out really easily just because of the way that gets centered, and in the late game, it's kind of obvious who they're going to target, so it's really not hard to drop their R's, and I'm never really in threat. Like first game, our Ashe was always going to get dived on, but it wasn't a big deal because our Lee was so ahead. Like I knew who had to target, and I don't know, it just wasn't hard. Like against all the top lane pools right now, it's a lot of champions that can't really go that far. And so they can just get kited out really easily, and so I don't mind first picking it because it's super safe and overpowered in the late game.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of weird top lane picks. I've seen Soraka top, I've seen Leona top, I've seen a couple of ADCs top, but never a Zillion. When you brought this idea to your team, what initial reaction did they have when you said, "Hey, I want to play Zillion top in our league games"?
And first pick it.
I know what my ADC's reaction was because I played a game with him and I ran it down. Okay, I sprinted it, but I was like 0-10, but I was looking at him like, huh, this champ is still overpowered, and so I guess I tried it out a little more after, and I was like, okay, yeah, no, the champ's good. I just played it like garbage the first time around, and so looking at it here, I'm like. I was looking at the top lane's champ pool and I was like, he doesn't pick anything that can actually put me in threat. So I picked it. And the whole idea of the Zillion at first was something that beats not only Ornn in lane, but can counter, like can scale as well as he can, maybe even better in some scenarios. And I think I just went out every time. Like that Ornn couldn't do anything in lane. I got AJ a kill because I destroyed him in lane and we got a kill under tower. And scaling wise, like it's OP. You know, I got double bomb every second. It's free.
Yeah, scaling with the Ornn is definitely a big concern, but if you're trying to play around that and counter that, that's definitely the way to go. Now, Smurfdon, the Lee Sin kicks were nearly on point. I mean, you're kicking people away, you're kicking people in, you're diving in and doing everything that you need to. I mean, what I feel like the skill level on that is just massive. Do you practice things like that?
No, not really. I just kind of just played a champ. I mean, I can basically do whatever I want because I got a pocket zillion ult to me every fight. So
You got the zillion following you around, so you're not too terribly concerned about that. Is Lee Sin your comfort pick? You played it in game 1 and game 2. I'm assuming that that's a pretty strong champion for you.
yeah, it's my most mastery played. It's probably one of my favorite junglers. But I mean, they keep banning Zac, so I can't pick Zac. So I gotta play Lee.
Yeah, well, if they're going to give you one that jumps in, they might as well take the other one, but they give it to you, right?
Facts.
So when you came into this game, picking the Lee Sin, I think it was what, both games? Yeah, it was both games. What was your mindset? Because I know whenever I play Lee Sin, I feel a lot of pressure. Being a Lee Sin, you're expected to be mechanical. You're expected to do a lot of damage. And I noticed that you went two different build patterns. What was your mindset going into each of these two games? And like, how did you play around the strengths that the enemy team had as a Lee Sin?
I don't really know. We just play our game. Kind of just. I mean, I'm not really the one to play around. Usually, I just play around the team, but we were just so ahead of everything. I just kind of did my own thing majority of the games.
Yeah, I noticed that you got quite a couple of leads from the Wukong. I know that you dove the horn topside and instantly just, I knew there was going to be a snowball from you. And you extended that lead beautifully. How did you communicate, like, hey, I want to dive? Did you just basically ask your lane to set it up? Or, like, how did you go about making sure that you could successfully extend these leads to your lanes?
Oh, I didn't really communicate game two at all. Kind of was just all of it was just all swole, all the support, really just making all the calls. But I mean, if I see someone low HP, I'm gonna just go to them and try to kill them.
Yep. If shot calling was a factor, Soul would definitely get an MVP spot over one of us. I mean, it was insane. It was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately we can't hear that. Although we should probably look into recording some team comps, see if we can't get some insight on how the teams are communicating and try to get some funny moments. But
Yeah.
so you guys from these two games, and we've noticed from how you guys play a very, very aggressive team strategy. You're always moving in, you're always trying to pressure, you're always trying to keep the enemy on the heels, and when you do find that opportunity to take a chunk out of them, it's just you guys just take that and run with it. You just start continuing to chunk and chunk and chunk and chunk, and the hits keep getting bigger. Is that the whole strategy behind how you guys play, or did you just choose that for these games based off of what you saw in the in researching your enemy team?
I mean, I would say that we have. I mean, our bot and mid are all like they're confident players. It's not necessarily that our style is this way because like we think it's like necessarily always the best compositions and always the best way to play. It's how we play, so we're gonna refine it as much as we can. AJ's always down to support or carry if he needs to, and then I'm kind of just trying to fit the mold of whatever else we need. And so we just by default we're just going to try to stomp every opponent, right? Because that's just kind of how we are. And then me and AJ just kind of like me, AJ, and our mid, we just kind of plug in the holes in terms of what we need in our composition to be able to do that. It's how we play because we just want to destroy our opponents every time.
Real team players right there. I love it.
I think that's about it for me.
Is that it for you, Zed? Well,
yeah,
we appreciate you guys. Fantastic game. We look forward to seeing you guys kick some more ass next week. I'm hoping that it's a little bit closer. I'm hoping that Collective Horizon, kind of reconfigures and they can come back, and if they do manage to have a chance to play you again, I'm hoping that they can show you guys what's what. But regardless of that, thank you for coming in, everybody. Thank you for the games. We really appreciate you guys showing up. We'll be back next week, Monday, 8:30 Eastern. Don't miss it.
taken by the words that you say. The voice that carries them has kept me astray. Too soon to act on it, can we ever be? That all depends on what you're feeling from me. Let me show you all the way. Let me show you all the ways. Oh, let me show you all the ways. Yeah, let me show you all the ways. Oh. I have been taken by the words that you say. The voice that carries them has kept me astray. Too soon to act on it, can we ever be? That all depends on what you're feeling from me. Let me show you all the way. Let me show you all the ways. Oh, let me show you all the ways. Yeah, let me show you all the ways. Oh. Light it up, light